Hello everyone, my name is J. Daniel Woodstock, creator of the game Dice Fights and owner of Woodstock Games. Today we're going to be talking about tariffs and what kind of effect they might have on a board game business. So, our beloved President-elect Donald J. Trump has stated that he is going to be imposing tariffs as much as 25% for Canada and Mexico with an extra 10% for China. What does that mean for us board game creators? Well, let's first talk about what a tariff is and how that might affect someone like myself. Now, when I first started board game design and I was looking for manufacturers to put my game Dice Fights together, I went first to American Soil. I really wanted an American company to manufacture my games. And they told me that this game here, Dice Fights, was going to cost me, if I ordered 5,000 of them, around $30 a unit, right? Now, you don't know, my MSRP on that game right now is $24.99. In the board game industry, when you make a board game, it is generally considered good business practice to charge 6 times your landed cost. Landed cost is what it costs for the manufacturer as well as the shipping to get to you. That is considered landing cost. So if you're charging $5 for your game, that means that you want to charge $30 for it, right? Now, I am nowhere near that 6 times cost. My landed cost for my last print of Dice Fights was close to around $9. And so I was really only sitting at like 2.5 times the marked up value because I felt like the general consumer would appreciate a $24.99 cost for my game. Now, bigger manufacturers that aren't little guy like me with only one game, they can order 10,000 copies at once and get their cost really low. So after I went to an American manufacturer and they told me it was going to cost me $30 a game, I started researching like, what the heck? There's no way that's the best option. And everyone said, hey, you need to take your manufacturing overseas to China. It's the only realistic ways to get a good price. Because if I were to use the American manufacturer at $30 a unit, my cost with a minimum order of 5,000, that means I would have to charge close to $120, $160, somewhere in there for Dice Fights, and that's not really realistic. So I ended up going overseas, getting that lower landed cost. Now, when you order something from China and you get it shipped over to the US, there's a couple different ways that you can go shipping wise. You can go DDU, which essentially is the manufacturer sending it to a port in the US, and then me as the business owner who's ordering this product is then going to pay customs, tariffs, any fees associated with getting that into the country, right? Or you could go DDP, and that's where the manufacturer will actually get it straight to your doorstep, and the manufacturer ends up paying those costs when it hits customs in the ports. Now, either way, whether you're going DDU or DDP, the manufacturer is essentially going to calculate in all those tariffs costs and just charge me that extra money. With that being said, if my cost of goods is $100 and then Trump's tariffs gets put in and it is a 35% tariff on the product, easy math there, we are now sitting at $135 that was once $100, which when you're marking it at that small of a number, it's just a huge increase because my margins are all already razor thin. I'm nowhere near the 6 times markup that a normal like Hasbro would be charging for their products. I'm at like 2.5, and now that 2.5 is going to be getting eaten up by the extra charge. So there's a couple different solutions to that. And I think what you'll see a lot of companies out there doing is they're actually going to just kind of pass that on to the end consumer. Most likely, big companies like Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, they may just absorb that to stay competitive and wanting. They're really good at pricing exactly where it needs to get priced. But a small guy like me, it if my costs go up 35%, I'm it makes me pretty nervous about the future of Woodstock Games. Trump has even said things like, I might even do a 200% tax. And at that point, that might be the end of Woodstock Games as we know it. And yeah, it's hard to think about that way. I'd be a little devastated that way. But so to put it in world terms, as an example, on my company right now, we currently sold out of our game Dice Fights, our 1,500 copies we originally got, and we're coming out with this new expansion called Dice Fights Healer Steel that is an addition to this. And then we're also doing new art for the game here. And it's beautiful. It's really well done. This is the only prototype in existence here. And we need to raise about $20,000 in order to order all the games to get it to us. And that'll pay for the landed, the shipping, and the cost there. Now, if that $25,000 now becomes 35% more, I believe that's sitting at right around $26,000. That just, I think we could do it. I think we can make it work as long as people get out there, follow the Kickstarter, really support your local indie publishers, not just me, but all the other ones out there that are coming out with these awesome games that we all love. Because you don't get games like Wingspan with Stonemaier Games, because they started out just like me with a Kickstarter, and then it went really well and it got bigger. But we really need your support out there with this new tariff coming in. So if you could go follow, like, subscribe. The best, most free way for you to support is watching this video, slamming that like button, subscribing. Anything helps, but if you can get over the Kickstarter and follow to make that as successful as possible, because we're a little unsure. We're thinking that we might go and maybe order all of the games now and try to get it in before new tariffs and maybe save ourselves 35% on our orders. But I think at this point, with how long the manufacturing process takes, probably nothing we're going to do is going to get those things ordered before it becomes a problem that way. Now, I am by no means an expert in tariffs and policy, and I'm not trying to like complain about what's going on. I'm a capitalist at heart, and I believe in playing the game that we're given. Trying to play a game that doesn't exist in the game of business, right? You don't you have to follow the rules that are given you. And in this case, a 35% raise to tariff is the new rule change that has been given us. And now we must figure out a way to optimize our gameplay with the 35% tariff. And so is the play to order now and hopefully get ahead of that tariff, raise the prices, maybe put that extra cost onto shipping? I don't know. If you have any suggestions, put it down in the comments. If you're a fellow board game designer or wanting to be a board game designer, what do you think about all this? The more light that we can shine on this, the better. And I hope that I can find a really good solution. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.